right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is week 16 here in the regular season. You are listening to the No Punt Intended podcast here on Entertainment Buddha. Be sure to check us out online at www.entertainmentbuddha.com. And with me, as always, is the number nerd himself, Mr. Justin Ludwig.
Yeah, the same guy who had all of his teams picked out, his cookies lined up, and I didn't pull the trigger. And naturally, all the teams that I had favored in last week, week 15, they all panned out. So naturally, of course, it's as such. I mean, it was reflected in our win-loss ties from last week because we did tie. We had 2 pushes, so that was weird.
Okay.
I went 11-3-2. What a week. And, naturally I didn't put any cookies on it because, I'm an idiot like that. You were 6-8-2. Oddly, almost every place that we disagreed, I won.
I'm going to have to stop disagreeing with you.
Okay. I know. I mean, I've said that before. Especially with we'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, the home teams were 4-10-2. Everything's going to be in 2 because Indianapolis pushed versus Houston and Seattle pushed versus San Fran, according to the lines that we were using. The favorites went 8-6-2.
8-6 and sheesh.
8-6-2.
But what does that mean?
I don't know. This week's going to be just as dumb, but again, we'll get there in good time.
Yeah.
In due time, good time, due time.
Eventually, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Well, I do remember for our little contest, I did pick the Rams Thursday night, and your response was idiot. And obviously now I look back and wish I would have said, whoops, let me change that to Arizona. But I did not, so.
I just had a feeling. I had a feeling like Arizona was on too much of a slide as of late, and I feel like they were due as well as St. Louis was due for an off week. And, giving up 4 field goals, I wouldn't call that an off week, but scoring 6 points, I would call that an off week.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the line was, but you could actually bet on whether or not a touchdown would be scored.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was, I want to say it was like 200-1 or something like that. Actually, no, it's probably more. It's probably like 500-1. I don't remember exactly, but it would have been nice to, go back in time and put that down. But
well, it would have been nice if I could go back in time and actually, place cookies on all the things I wanted to place cookies on. But
yeah. Well,
of course, that didn't happen.
One thing we can look forward to this 2015 Major League Baseball season is the Cubbies are supposed to win the World Series according to Back to the Future. So maybe we'll have to put a futures bet on that.
I wish I could go back in time and put some money on the Cubbies.
And there is a Miami team now, albeit they're in the same league, but who knows?
Doesn't mean they can't get realigned before the season starts.
Yeah, well,
there's no geography restriction like in basketball or hockey.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay's looking to move out of St. Petersburg, so
exactly.
Maybe all that happens before 2000. Maybe Miami and Tampa Bay just share a stadium.
Or maybe they flip-flop.
Yeah. I mean, it probably won't help either's attendance at all, but, whatever. It'll be good for Back to the Future.
Could always just move to Biloxi.
You just like saying Biloxi.
I love saying Biloxi. That and Smaug are my 2 favorite words. I think Smaug is the winner. It's so
Smaug.
Silly. Smaug. I feel like you have to say it. You can't say, like I was watching, you hear people talk about, the Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. And they have to say Smaug. You can't say smog, you have to say Smaug. But listening to people talk about it on, review shows or when they talk about it on TV Guide, it's just, it always just tickles me just right. Desolation of Smaug.
It sounds like a word that is mispronounced on purpose in like South Park episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it reminds me of.
Just always gets me. It's my favorite word.
Oh! What'd you do?
Oh, the blind fell.
Oh.
We'll leave that in.
Don't worry, folks. We'll come hell or high water, we get this podcast done.
It's a ghost.
Sure.
Maybe it's Smaug.
You say Smaug 3 times, he appears.
Well, don't do it again.
All right.
Beetle breakfast? Anyway.
All right.
Out of the scope. Anyway.
All right. So this week I got to try and turn my picks around because
don't disagree.
Yeah. All right. Well, then this will be the week that you like get like 4 wins.
Yeah, that's probably true. I did that there. When did I do that? Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. You've been on a little hot streak the last couple weeks.
Yeah, 10-5-1 the week before, and then 11-3-2. So
yeah.
I got to start putting some of these, cookies. Speaking of cookies, as I was alluding to a little earlier before we started, there are 5 divisions still undecided.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys are the favorite, the Packers are the favorite, the Saints are the favorite, the Seahawks are the favorite, and it's anybody's guess in the AFC North. If you were to bet all of the favorites and put that into what I'm calling a parlay, you get almost 8-1 on your cookies. If you bet 3 favorites, but make one of those the Cardinals that isn't the favorite, you get almost 19-1.
Interesting.
It is interesting. And it's interesting all the more because the Cardinals are a game up and they have Seahawks and San Fran left. So
with their 3rd string quarterback.
I know. I mean, if they win this week, it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's all over. You're 18-1, it's pretty much in the bag.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not so sure about that NFC East. How do you feel about that? Being a supporter of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like I'm not completely surprised they lost to Dallas, but I'm just not sure how they're going to respond against Washington this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end the season with the Giants in New York, which Eli could show up and throw 5 touchdowns to Odell Beckham Jr., or he could throw 5 picks. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. There's no rules. It's Thunderdome with Eli Manning. But
no, it's the Metrodome. Wait, wrong one. It's in East Rutherford. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing with your situation is that the tiebreaker would be the best one-loss percentage in games played within the division, which Philadelphia kind of has a nice lead.
Right.
So if they can somehow tie it up, then they'd be in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dallas has Indianapolis and Washington, so they have a tough game this week against Indy, but I think they can.
Yeah, I have some thoughts about that, but again,
yeah, getting ahead of ourselves here. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I feel like if the Eagles don't win the division, they might miss the playoffs.
Yeah, Seattle, and then either Detroit or Green Bay are 10-4. Philadelphia's a game behind. How does that work out? Let's see. Division head-to-head best long games played within the conference. So conference would probably be the one. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily favorable.
Yeah,
if they don't win the division. Yeah,
it's a little kind of hard to figure out here, especially with Mark Sanchez. I don't like him.
Good quarterback. Good quarterback.
And I mean, like Nick, there's a chance Nick Foles plays. I mean, probably not this week, but maybe next week if he's needed. I mean, I know he was throwing and taking some snaps and stuff, but I just don't know how close to 100% he is.
According to the latest, Chip Kelly has confirmed that Foles will not be playing.
Okay. Just this week. Okay.
Just this week.
Yeah, so maybe if, it comes down to week 17 and he's ready to go, maybe they they put him in, depending on how Sanchez does this week, I'm sure. I don't know.
6 fantasy points last week. Good game.
Yeah.
Good game. Speaking of great games, not good games, great games. Thursday night.
Ooh, yes.
They couldn't have picked a worse game. Literally. The 2 worst teams in the league.
I might put a pillar in front of my own TV.
Yeah, that's
for this game.
Just watch something else. Just switch over to Big Bang Theory or something.
Well, I'll probably play Last of Us or Destiny or something like that.
Better choice. Better choice than watching this game of Tennessee at Jacksonville. The Jaguars are the favorite, presumably because they're the host.
That's how it appears.
Presumably.
They're -3. Let's see. They're both 2-12. They both probably want to lose so they can get a better draft pick. Can I pick tie? Can I?
Sure.
No. I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
Really? I'm gonna take Tennessee, and I have literally no reason why I'm doing. I really don't.
Well, this is one that I'm okay with us disagreeing on, only because there doesn't seem to be a right or wrong.
Right.
Or wrong.
Sure. Who is the main? Toby Gerhart is the feature back for Jacksonville. So that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a couple runs the last couple weeks, a couple runs of 5-6 yards, so I guess they felt he deserved the ball.
Who's the quarterback for Tennessee? Whitehurst?
Whitehurst, cuz Locker got hurt on Sunday.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I'm almost tempted to take the Titans just because of Whitehurst now. But he still doesn't have, he's got terrible receivers, poor running game. Not that Jacksonville's any better, but I think Jacksonville's defense is a little better than the Titans.
That's fair.
I think. Let me see. Oh, no, doesn't appear so. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just stop talking about it.
The same. All right. I'm depressed. Let's move on.
Saturday games.
Saturday.
3 out of 4 days feature 4 out of the 5. Missed a finger. I missed counting on the thumb. That's why I missed it. Anyway, Philadelphia at Washington. Philadelphia 8.5 points. It's a lot of points.
8.5 in Washington.
I know.
With Mark Sanchez. I'll take Washington.
Really?
I just think that's
you feel like they're not going to cover. Is that
I just feel like 8.5's too high for the Eagles on the road.
Yeah, it's true.
And RG3 was getting a bit of a spark last week. He seemed like he was playing for something when he came in. So whether that carries over, I don't know. Did they name him the starter for this week or didn't they?
I know he's not going to be on social media anymore.
That's right. He's no longer on the Twitter.
Nope. Looks like he will start. Colt McCoy is on IR, so he's out. Yeah. So then it's either RG3 or Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I'll take Washington to cover 8.5 at home. Are we gonna disagree on the first two?
No, but this is the point where RG3 is gonna come back and he'll probably look all right. I'm taking Philly, by the way. I don't trust Washington.
All right, so we are disagreeing on the first two.
Yeah. Plus, I think Philly has more to play for. They kind of have to win this game.
You're right. No, I agree. I just don't know that if they can do it by 8.5.
But as I was saying, this is the point where RG3 comes in and goes gangbusters, and then Washington beats Dallas in the last week, and then, it's a lot of things go haywire in the NFC East because, that's when Dallas will hit their slide.
That's true. Dallas hasn't really hit their slide yet.
Nope, it's coming.
All right. All right. Well, let's.
Speaking of, it's coming. It's the last Saturday game of the week.
The Battle of the Saints. San is Saint. That's.
I don't know.
It's San Diego at San Francisco.
I don't know how you got that, but it's
San is Saint Diego and Saint Francisco. All right.
San Diego at San Francisco, and San Francisco is favored. The 7-7 Niners against the 8-6 Chargers.
San Fran's -2.
San Fran is -2. I like the Chargers. I don't know why. I guess because they're home.
No, the Chargers are away.
No, but I mean, I don't know why San Francisco would be favored.
Oh. You're taking the Chargers.
Yep.
Okay, me too.
I feel like San Francisco's been kind of poopy lately.
Yeah, I agree. And San Diego still has something to play for.
Something to play for, you're right.
So we'll see if good Phillip Rivers shows up.
Where are they in the mix? They are one game behind.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trailing Kansas via tiebreaker. But they play them week 17, so that'll set up nicely. Set up nicely for a last week play. See, I feel like the NFL did kind of a good job with the scheduling this week in that of the remaining games, they kind of make this, kind of the weird poopy week where it's, not division games. It's not games that really are big.
It's Tennessee, Jacksonville on Thursday night. Right.
I mean, they let it all, they air it out for now and then wait for week 17 to have the big division rivalries, games that'll matter.
Because they were getting tired of teams that didn't have anything to play for sitting their starters, on week 17.
Yeah, but that's also the interesting thing for this week because you have Tennessee at Jacksonville, you have the Jets, you have who else is at the bottom? You have Oakland and Tampa Bay. They all have everyone except the Jets has 2 wins. The Jets have 3 wins. So it's like you imagine they're all going to tank this week. It's like this is the week that we really have to separate ourselves as the terrible team.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then essentially you have to make it happen in week 17. And if you're like a game up going into week 17, it's like do you even try and tank week 17 or is it just like whatever, let's just play it out?
Yeah. Yeah, that's I just keep looking at that Tennessee Jacksonville game and
it's terrible.
Wonder how much of it will actually be worth watching. I'm going to watch it, right? It's
Thursday.
I won't be able to help myself. Like, I'm going to have to.
As of now, Tennessee has the tiebreaker over Jacksonville, FYI. If,
the strength of schedule?
No, head-to-head.
In the division?
Yeah, I don't know what the hierarchy is for the draft selection.
Well, the draft is...
You said it was strength of schedule, right?
Right. That was my understanding. But they both play in the AFC South, and
yeah,
I don't know.
There'd only be 2 games difference unless there's some.
Why do we keep coming back to this game?
I don't know. Let's move on. Minnesota at Miami. Miami is -7.
Miami's -7. Minnesota's been playing really well.
Yeah, but neither of these teams really have anything to play for. They're both in the middle of the pack.
Right. But they're at a point too where tanking games isn't really gonna help a whole lot.
Nope.
Can you imagine if Minnesota had Adrian Peterson this year?
It's an interesting what if.
They'd probably have a couple more wins. I mean, what do they have now? 6 wins, 7 wins?
6 and 8.
6. Yeah, I mean they might be a 8-win team if they had Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, a lot of their losses. I mean, last week they lost by 2. Mm-hmm. Week 12 they lost by 3 to Green Bay. Before that, they lost by 8 to Chicago. A lot of their losses aren't that much. So if they would have had somebody that's a little better than the platoon of Matt Asiata and
Jerick McKinnon.
Well, he's not there anymore. It's Ben Tate.
Well, Tate, yeah. Yeah, they just recently got Ben Tate. But
I mean, it's like if they wouldn't have had to rely so much on Bridgewater and, their other skill players.
Yeah.
It might have been all right. But if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon. So there's that.
Then you could be a handy car. I'm going to take Minnesota.
I think it's a good choice. Well, wait, 7 points. Yeah.
Minnesota's defense is solid, especially against the pass. Miami's rushing attack isn't very good. Them going up against the 6th ranked pass defense in Minnesota should cause Tannehill some problems.
Well, even Minnesota, they're good. They're proficient at keeping the game close, and
Right.
7's a lot.
Right, and as you said, the last couple of weeks they've only lost by a few points. So I think that's certainly feasible for Minnesota.
Yeah, even a tease for Minnesota looks pretty good.
Ooh,
I know.
that's true. Interesting.
Tease for either team. I would take either.
Yeah.
Or you could do both, which is possible.
Or if you're real confident in Minnesota, you could take a reverse.
Ooh.
But that's if you're getting greedy.
It's if you're a gambling man, which,
Yeah.
as I proved last week, I'm probably not. But there's a new week. Anyway, it's a new week featuring new matchups like Baltimore at Houston. Baltimore is favored by 6.5.
Baltimore is 6.5.
They need this.
They do. They certainly do. Is Houston playing for anything, or they're pretty much done, aren't they?
No, they're out.
If they win out, they'll be 9-7. Yeah.
That's not enough.
Yeah. All right. I will take Baltimore.
It's a good choice. I'll pick that too, only because they have more to play for.
Yeah.
Plus, Houston doesn't have Fitzpatrick anymore.
Right. They have
So now they're really
Tom
whipping their way
Savage.
down.
Tom Savage.
Is that seriously
Pitt
it?
Panthers. That's who came in last week, yeah.
Yeah, but he's out.
Savages?
Yep. Coach Bill O'Brien indicated Monday that Savage won't be available, knee injury.
Yeah.
So now you're down to your 4th string, Thad Lewis.
Well, they had, I think there was talk of them signing Case Keenum, but I don't know if that actually went through. Let me see who Case Keenum was, a backup.
Wow, you had to make it to your 4th string quarterback.
Texans to start Case Keenum or Thad Lewis on Sunday. So they have Case Keenum back on the team, but they have not confirmed who will start. Interesting. All right, yeah, I'll take Baltimore for sure.
Yeah, Andre Johnson's questionable, concussion, though he's likely to return.
Unless J.J. Watt's playing running back, quarterback, and wide receiver on the offense, which I wouldn't put it past him. He did play tight end for a while in college. But no, like you said, Baltimore's got a lot to play for, and with Thad Lewis or Case Keenum as quarterback, I think Baltimore can take care of that game. So both take Baltimore?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about teasing this. It's just I don't know. I don't know.
What, tease it to Baltimore 1.5 -1.5?
Yeah.
I would.
What's their recent schedule look like? They won 4 of their last 5. Decent wins against Miami and New Orleans. Their division games are getting tripped up. They also lost against San Diego. I guess. Opponent passing yards, they're pretty bad, but of course it's Casey and Keenum or Thad Lewis, so yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine. Baltimore, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. We can move on.
As long as they can stop Arian Foster like the Colts did.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they have the 3rd best rushing defense.
Right. So that'll certainly help. If they can keep him at contained, they have a pretty good shot at blowing this game open.
Yeah, that's a Ravens feather in your cap.
I see what you did there.
Yep.
The old Edgar Allan Poe.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got next? Detroit at Chicago. Detroit's -7.
That's a good game. Maybe. It's got division implications. Not so much anything.
Yeah, but Chicago sucked. They were so bad Monday night.
Yeah, but here's where it gets interesting because Chicago, they're 5-9, so they're clearly out. So why not spoil it? It's like Green Bay has Tampa. Green Bay's going to stomp on them, or do we? We'll get there.
Yeah.
But they spoil it for Detroit. Detroit might if they lose out, they might fall out of the playoffs altogether. If Philadelphia,
Yeah,
cruises through their last two,
but Chicago
might be that
can't.
Detroit falls out.
Here's
They're terrible.
Yeah, they gave up. Let's see, their last 3 games, they gave up 34 to Detroit. They gave up 41 to Dallas. They gave up 31 to New Orleans, and now they're playing Detroit again.
But how do you feel about 7 points? Do you feel like that's adequate?
I would take Detroit.
I mean, Detroit beat them by 17 last time. I'm taking Detroit too.
Yeah. Chicago is 2-5 at home. What are they?
That's interesting. They've lost by 13 and 16 in the last 2 games at home.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has not been a pretty season for Chicago, which I just don't understand. I just don't. Let's see.
They have the tools.
They do. They certainly do, and it's just
can't put them together, I guess.
Where are they? There we go. Let's look up. Yeah. They're just so bad. They've just been giving up so many points. Their defense is terrible. Their offense can't score points.
Which is weird because Alshon Jeffrey is 11th in fantasy points, and Martellus Bennett is 5th.
And Matt Forte is probably the best running back in the league at yards from scrimmage, whether it's a screen pass or a run.
Yeah, he's 4th right now.
Yeah. It's just Jay Cutler not getting it done for whatever reason.
Jay Cutler's the 9th best, but not best enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of not best enough, Johnny Manziel's debut did not go well. So what does that mean?
That's an understatement.
When Cleveland goes to Carolina, when the Panthers are favored by 4. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I think Manziel's starting, isn't he?
I'd hope so. I just want to watch it.
Today.
It's like a car wreck you can't stop watching.
I know. It was so I couldn't believe. Oh, on
Manziel will start.
All right. Before we started recording, I was watching SportsCenter. They were showing the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were measuring out all their big passes during the game on the court. They converted to yards. They threw more yards than Johnny Manziel did.
80.
Yeah.
And that was a full game.
Yeah. The Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team, in the plays that they showed, long passes down the court, covered about 95 yards.
Yeah,
so,
but what does that mean for dollars per yard for Manziel? I mean, he's making out like a bandit.
Well, yeah.
It's like, I only got to throw 80. I don't want to put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
I'm getting that money either way.
Yeah.
Just,
well,
mail it in.
He's still on that rookie contract, so he wants to be good, so he gets that huge contract. That's the thing. But he did not start his campaign very well. I was watching that game. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so hard to watch.
And front office probably thought you should be paying us.
There were so many times where you thought he was just going to take off and run, and he didn't. And you're like, just do that. Like it worked for you in college. Like you have the open field. Like use your legs. Like get the space, get the first down. But he kept trying to force the ball on that turnover after turnover, and it was just not a pretty game for Johnny Manziel.
So who is the leading rusher for quarterbacks?
Probably Russell Wilson. I'm pretty sure.
Russ Wilson's got 754.
Yeah.
Behind him is Cam Newton with 425.
Yep.
Then Kaepernick, Tannehill, Bortles, Luck, Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, Russell Wilson is... Oh, he's so good. So good.
What is Manziel's contract? That's all I want to know. John?
Well, it's a rookie contract, so it's not going to be huge.
It's got to be something.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Anyway, what do we think on the game? Carolina?
I'll take Carolina.
-4. Yeah.
Johnny Manziel, 4 years, 8.2 million. With
base for this year's 420,000. He's got about $1 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
So he's getting about $1.5 million this year.
Right.
So per yard that he's thrown, which he's thrown for 120 of them, that's, I don't know. It's more than he's worth.
Yeah.
143 passing yards with 2 interceptions and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
And you're taking Carolina. I don't know. I feel like Cleveland's going to win. And Manziel will have an okay game and he'll say, "See, I told you so. Dummies.
See, I don't
Show me the money."
Yeah. I don't think he can get it together in a week. I think he underestimated how much work he needed to put in.
Yeah, but it makes sense now that Cleveland's pretty much out of it.
Right.
Makes sense that he'll finally bring it together and he'll, end on a high note.
Well, I don't.
And then everyone will say, "Well, yeah, you did it a week too late."
I don't know that. I don't know that he'll get it together.
Well,
but
something better than before.
Well, there's no point in Cleveland not starting him. Like you said, they're out. So they might as well give him the repetitions and experience.
So they play Carolina this week. They win. Manziel gets full of himself, and then they play at Baltimore in Week 17. They go in, they beat them for an upset. Baltimore gets bounced out from either division or the playoffs altogether, and Johnny Manziel thinks he's. I don't have a joke. Johnny Manziel thinks he's great.
All right,
the man.
I'm gonna disagree on that one because
I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm just saying it. Like I can see it happen.
Last week for this game, I said Johnny Manziel is going to go one of two ways and no in between. I said he's either going to come out great and gunslinging, or he's going to be terrible. And unfortunately for him and the Browns, it was the latter.
It was a Browns.
Yeah. So bad. Yeah, hopefully he can turn around. I mean, I'd kind of like to see him succeed, but he is kind of full of himself, it seems. Which everybody knows because
you might as well just have LeBron play quarterback.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm gonna take my talents to the Browns. Johnny, hold the clipboard.
I'm staying in Cleveland. No, what if they just traded spots for a week? What if Johnny went to play for the Cavaliers and LeBron played quarterback for the Browns just for a week?
Just for a night.
I mean, would it really hurt the Cavaliers series overall? That promotion, yeah. Like me and my friends have this discussion often about like, what if you could trade, players from one sport to another city for different players in another sport? Like, how awesome would that be? Like, yeah, your team that you're giving up your good player for might suck, but you're getting a better player for a team that's right on the edge of making it. Like you trade a running back for a center in hockey, and all of a sudden your team
it'd be fun to watch LeBron play football.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to see him play.
Yeah.
I mean, Manziel is just like collateral damage. Yeah, if we need to get rid of somebody high profile, just get rid of Manziel.
Yeah.
It's not like he's doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to see LeBron line up at tight end or so next to Josh Gordon. That would be
that'd be fun.
That'd be fun to watch for sure. Let's make it happen, Cleveland. Let's make it happen. I don't think Roger Goodell will allow it though.
Why not?
Because it's a good idea, and he doesn't like good ideas.
Well, but it would be the red herring that the NFL needs right now.
Yeah, it would take the focus off the terribleness of his reign, I guess. But all right, so I'm taking Carolina. You're taking Cleveland.
Yep.
All right.
Can't wait for you to be wrong.
I know.
Well, we're going to agree on the next one probably when the Falcons travel to New Orleans and the Saints are favored by 6.5. Nolans. The Saints, who are with the slimmest of leads at the top of a log-jammed NFC South, of which Atlanta could win the division with their 5-9 record right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, the Saints have Falcons this week, Tampa next week. The currently 2-12 Tampa Bay. So New Orleans needs this game.
Right.
So if New Orleans wins And the Browns beat Carolina. That's it. And the Saints are favored to win the division, minus 225. Ooh, if the other teams win it, they're plus 400. Now I don't know what I want. I'm taking the Saints this game, but it'd be interesting. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints, too.
If.
They end the season at Atlanta, Tampa.
Plus 400.
That's so sweet for them.
Plus 400. What if... All right, if you bet, say, Cowboys, Packers, Panthers, it doesn't really matter, but Cowboys, Packers, Panthers, Cardinals, Steelers, you throw that into the mixer, that's 67.25 to 1. Wow. I wish we had that gray sports almanac now.
That would be sweet. But then you'd create an alternate universe where Biff Tannen runs the world, and
it's a bunch of time travel malarkey.
Yeah.
Flim flam.
Yeah. So
speaking of malarkey, it's going to be that when a pissed off Green Bay goes into Tampa Bay, it's a battle of the bays. The Bay in Wisconsin and the Bay in St. Petersburg? No, close enough. Green Bay's favored by 10.5.
10.5. Well, I was really hoping Green Bay would win, so you would have to take Tampa this week, like we talked about last week. But since they lost to Buffalo, I'll relieve you if your Packers must lose to Tampa.
What did I say if they beat Buffalo?
Well, yeah, because you said the Packers weren't going to go on I forget how many game win streak it would have been.
Yeah, that was right.
Right. But you said if they...
Then they would lose to Tampa.
Right.
Yeah,
you said if they beat Buffalo, they would have lost to Tampa. Let's see. They would have been on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they would have won last week, they would have been 6. Yeah.
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 There was no way they were going to coast in winning. I mean, you probably don't even want to.
Right. Right. No, you definitely don't want to. I'll take Green Bay.
But even 10.5?
Yeah. Like you said, they're going to be pissed off. They're going to be back to their fighting form.
Tease for this looks sensational. That's for sure.
Yeah. Does this bugaboo scare you?
No, only because they need it.
Yeah.
They're tied with Detroit right now. They can't be, farting around for much longer.
Right. Yeah, and they both play each other week 17, so that could
and they've already lost against Detroit, so
right.
They're going to get boned if they're even Steven with their records.
Mm-hmm. It's very true. That'll be an exciting game to watch. Week 17.
Mm-hmm. But week 16 game to watch, I'm going to say, is Kansas City at Pittsburgh.
Yes.
With Yins favored by 3.5. Good game.
3.5. Yeah.
A good game.
I'll take Pittsburgh.
I'd like to take Pittsburgh. The problem is their games usually go in ebbs and flows that they'll do okay for a couple of games and then they won't do okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is this that point where they don't? I mean, I can just imagine them hosting Cincinnati in week 17 and just stomping over them like they did 2 weeks ago. Kansas
I don't know.
City.
I think Pittsburgh ends the season on a 4-game win streak.
Wouldn't it be nice for them for the division? Where's Kansas right now? Kansas kind of needs this too. They're on the outside looking in. They're taking their little sweatshirt and wiping off the snow that's gathering on the window and peering in and seeing how great it looks in the AFC playoff picture. All the teams sitting down there around the fire, maybe eating the Pizza Hut's 11 new flavors of pizza, maybe some Fritos, some Dr. Thunder. They're thinking, boy, if I could just be rubbing elbows with New England and Denver and Indianapolis and our fellow AFC Northers, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Grass is always greener in the other division.
Yeah. But they kind of need this too.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that kind of hurts Kansas City is Pittsburgh's 11th against the rush. And Kansas City relies on that a lot. And short passes, really.
I guess if Kansas was a little better on with their passing,
Yeah.
if their bugaboo wasn't throwing to their wide receivers, because that's where Pittsburgh gets burned sometimes.
Yeah.
Then I guess, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
All right.
Only for the fact that Kansas City has yet to throw a touchdown, and this will probably jinx it. But they have yet to throw a touchdown.
Well, we talk about it. We've talked about it every week. So
I know, but it's that you have to think Dwayne Bowe's getting PO'd.
Well, I don't know how PO'd he can get because he's obviously they're not getting open.
I guess
that's one, Alex Smith isn't good at throwing the deep ball, and two, the receivers just aren't getting it. Doesn't seem to matter who they play.
Yeah,
whether the pass defense is good or not, they just don't get open. It's insane. I've never seen anything like this.
It's actually kind of weird. Alex Smith's statistics are pretty close to what they were last year.
Right.
In almost every sense. He's got about the same yards, about the same average. He's en route to have almost the same touchdowns and interceptions and fumbles and completions and blah, 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 blah. It's weird.
Yeah,
and he hasn't thrown a touchdown to a wide receiver yet.
Yeah, he's thrown 18 touchdowns and none of them have been to a receiver.
Huh.
Their leading receiver, who's not a tight end, is Dwayne Bowe with 667 yards. Alex Smith, like I said, Alex Smith was never one to be a pass-heavy quarterback. His percentage is usually good, but right now he's about 50 yards short of 3,000, and you look at Ben Roethlisberger, who's shooting for 5,000 this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not there for Kansas City. And even when Alex Smith was in San Francisco, he wasn't always known for being a great passer, other than completion percentage.
Right.
I'd like to see how long this wide receiver drought goes. Because if it goes beyond this year, I want to know, and in everyone's fantasy leagues, when the first Kansas City wide receiver is taken. Next
sure
year.
I took Dwayne Bowe pretty high, which that didn't last.
Yeah, I don't really blame you because you don't see that coming. But do you shy away from Kansas City receivers next year? Then
sure.
If Alex Smith is still the quarterback, I would say absolutely. But I know Dwayne Bowe went. He went kind of mid range in our league, but.
Oh, wow. I got him 16th round. I thought that was Dwayne Bowe in the 16th? Absolutely.
Yeah, you think that was a good pickup, but...
Yeah, I thought it was a great deal. He was nearly our Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah. And he basically has become that this NFL
He was
season.
my Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Essentially.
All right, so we're both taking Pittsburgh?
Yep.
All right. Next up, another division matchup. New England at the New York Jets. New England is minus 10.5 in New York. Minus 10.5 on the road. Does this concern you?
I don't know.
The way that New England has been playing.
They've already lost to the no. It's gonna never mind.
They almost lost to the Jets.
They almost lost. The Jets. Yeah, but the Jets have a lot to not play for, as in they don't want to win.
Right. Well, I kind of think Rex Ryan does, so he doesn't lose. I don't know if he'll lose his job because everybody seems to like him. But, how much longer can they go through with the way they're playing?
Mm-hmm. I'm not scared about the 10.5, only for the fact that I think that New England has more to not play for.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Then again, it is pretty. Wins each American base head to head. New England essentially has to drop both games, I think, for them to not get a bye. Is that right? I think so.
I think.
Based on head-to-head win percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would win the tiebreaker over the Colts. So they have to drop both for them to not have a bye.
Right.
Which I'm not saying they're going to.
Well, in Week 17, they play Buffalo, and Buffalo's defense is fantastic this year, as we saw last week. So,
yeah, Buffalo might have more to play for next week.
Right, and at that point, if New England wins against the Jets, they don't really have to worry about the Buffalo game so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to take New England.
Yeah, me too. I'm not scared about that.
Brady and Belichick in December rarely lose, and New York's that terrible, and New England's that on fire right now that I think they can cover a 10.5 point spread.
Another 10.5 point spread that is looking absolutely delectable to take as a teaser.
Yes, that is
You've already
true.
got 2 of your 3 locked up. Green Bay and New England. Just tease those down to 4.5.
It's true.
Done. Just add any third team. Or you can go for 4 teams. You're already halfway there if you're making a 4-team tease. Or if you're making a 6-team tease, you're 1/3 of the way there.
I have another one to add that we haven't gotten to yet, but we'll talk about that when it comes up. You're taking New England.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Next. New York Giants at the St. Louis Rams. St. Louis is -5.
They're both nebulous, and they're in kind of the middle of the pack. They can't get a draft pick, and they can't make the playoffs. St. Louis didn't do so well last week.
No, they did not.
I feel like the Giants shouldn't be... Oh, boy. I feel like the Giants are going to win this game.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, that +5 for the Giants is pretty tempting.
That is pretty nice. I feel like Eli's kind of at that point where he can connect with, Beckham.
Right.
A couple of times. And St. Louis is struggling too to score points.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah. I'm going to take New York as well.
Yeah, I think that's
I think as long as Eli and Odell Beckham Jr. can keep that chemistry going and keep getting those ridiculous catches, they should be okay. Even though the Rams defense is really good, I think New York can cover that 5-point spread.
Yeah, conditional pick. If Eli doesn't play like crap, I'm taking the Giants. If Eli plays
I thought that was assumed from week 1.
Yeah, well,
did we not specify that?
I'm making the Eli face as we're talking about this.
All right, those are the best faces. Yeah, and then New York's final game will be against Seattle, so that won't be fun for them.
Nope.
All right, so we're both taking the Giants. How about the
how remiss of us. We completed the 1:00 games with New England and New York.
Where is your head?
I don't know. Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Best game. Done. Wrap it up.
Yeah, but that Falcons Saints has a lot going for it too.
Yeah, but Kansas versus Pittsburgh is 2 better teams.
Atlanta
and New Orleans does have a lot of playoff implications.
True.
But
I agree. I think Chiefs Steelers is probably the number 1, and then Falcons Saints is 1A.
If you add together the total wins between those 2 teams, you get 2 more than Pittsburgh has, but not as many as Pittsburgh and Kansas City have, but tie with numbers games. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's fair.
I went cross-eyed, so...
A solid 1A, you're right, is Atlanta and New Orleans.
That's
a good second choice.
Another good one might be that Chargers-Niners game. Just
Saturday, though.
Well, yeah. I'm doing like everything before 4:00 Sunday.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
All right. So both.
What do you think the pillar game is, though? Since Tennessee Jacksonville's on Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clearly going to be on every television. Must see Thursday TV. Do they have like a great food special on Thursday that you can just worry about the food if you go there?
I don't go there during the weeknight. I'm only there on Sundays.
Like, guys, we're here for the wings. Just don't worry about the game.
Pillar game.
Just put on Big Bang Theory. We're good. Just get the wings. You put on Big Bang. We're good. We're fine.
Pillar game. I don't know. Maybe that Vikings Dolphins, or maybe the Browns Panthers. I don't know because I kind of want to watch Johnny Manziel again.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brian Hoyer were starting, I would say Browns Panthers, but because it's Manziel, I want to see how he responds this week. But
yeah, probably Vikings Dolphins. That's kind of the one. I mean, they're all just like, bleh.
Yeah, there's none on Sunday that are really like I do not want to watch. That game happens Thursday night.
No, they're all in that bell curve.
Yeah,
they're not interesting, but they're not uninteresting.
They're lukewarm,
tepid.
How about this next one? Bills at the Raiders.
Also tepid.
Buffalo is -6.
Oh, Buffalo. Oakland has nothing to play for.
Except, well, yeah. A slightly better draft pick than if they had 3 wins. Because Titans and Jags should, one of them should have 3 wins by the end of that game. Not guaranteed, but should.
Yeah, but even if they tie, that's still in a better spot.
Yeah, you're right.
Than the Raiders.
Well,
So Raiders losing this game will improve their draft position.
Right. They could end up with second. What's Tampa?
Tampa's 2-12. What's their strength of schedule?
Okay, so really, the best case scenario or most likely scenario for the Raiders is they get the third overall pick if
Tampa loses out, they'll get it.
Yeah, depending how week 17 goes, right now the best case scenario for the Raiders is the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
But do they lose by 6 to the Bills at home?
Sure. I would love to tease this. This would be a great 3rd team in your tease.
Yeah.
Because Buffalo's got a lot to play for. They're still kind of in it.
Yeah.
Kinda. I didn't say they're out.
Well,
they're kind of in
it. It's a slim chance for Buffalo, but
sure, but they're not mathematically eliminated.
True. Yeah, I'm gonna
That's the crux of all this.
I'm gonna take Buffalo. I like the tease idea, but I'm gonna take Buffalo. Let's see. Yeah, Oakland. I don't know. Sometimes Oakland just shows up and plays like
they do. They keep it close. I think that's what I think that's what you were shooting for with that 6-point line.
Yeah. I just don't know. I already said I'm going to stick with Buffalo. Like you said, they have something to play for. I think they can make it happen. Is that your pick?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you already say that and I missed it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sure it came up somewhere.
All right.
I'd love to tease this game. Is the crux of everything.
Okay. So a possible. So what's that? Who are they? Green Bay, New England, Buffalo right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where's my phone bill? Gotta write this down. All right. Well, you remember it. I don't feel like looking for it. Next game we have Indianapolis at Dallas. Dallas is -3.
I assume that line is under the assumption that DeMarco Murray's going to play.
Yes, that's
who we are unsure about at this time.
Yeah, let's see.
ESPN lists him as doubtful. Murray said, though, "I'm good, I'm great."
Yeah, I feel like he's going to play.
Why? I don't want... No, here's what you do. Your offensive line is great.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. Just let him rest. Because, I mean, the game that I would say... Well, it's like if you lose to Indianapolis, then you have... Well, I guess they don't... I guess they figure they need to win out. Because if Philly wins...
Cowboys are optimistic that Murray will play.
Who does Philly have? Philly has Washington and the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Dallas has Indy and Washington.
I mean, I guess they figured that they need to win these two because Philly's going to win their two. And then if Dallas drops this, then odds are, I think that means they're out.
Right.
Let me try this.
Yeah, they could finish with 11 wins and miss the playoffs.
Sure. Let's see what happens here. Philly game.
I am going to take.
Yeah, if that's what happens, then Philly's in.
Let's see. Indianapolis has that division locked up, right?
Yeah, but they can't get past either of those two teams, though. That's the dumb thing for them,
right? So it really doesn't matter what they do. Yeah, I'm going to take Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas. As long, if
3 points. But the weird thing is, their backups that they're going to play aren't even doing that bad. I mean, it's probably the offensive line that's just so good.
Right.
I mean, you look at, let's see, Dunbar and Randall. Dunbar on the season has a 3.5 yard average. Randall on the season, 7 yard average. I mean, they're not, full game.
Right.
But you still have Des Bryant, though. Like, you still have so many weapons with an offensive line that's just so good. I feel like you got to let him get as close as he can to 100%.
Right.
You can't roll the dice. I mean, he's so oft injured.
But you also don't want to sit him and then, like, for lack of a better, have him get cold. Like, yeah, you sit out a game, you don't think it'll have too much of an effect, but sometimes it's better to keep him in the momentum and keep him in the game. I don't know. I know that's just how some people think, but let's see. I want to look up Romo's stats real quick because he's been having a very, very good last few games. Against Philly, he went 22 of 31, no turnovers.
I mean, maybe the sense is that they run him into the ground because he's a free agent next year, and they just kind of let him walk.
Well, right, and he wants to continue playing well, so he gets a big contract.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and going back to Roma here, his last two games, he has a QBR of 91.6 and 88.5. So, I mean, he's kind of hitting. I mean, this is probably one of the best years Roma's ever had, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but that's with the caveat that he's been able to be he's been more well balanced as a quarterback.
Well, right, he's
a better running back.
Right,
he's going to be nowhere close to the number of attempts that he's had.
Right, because
in a normal season.
Right, because he hasn't had to throw the ball as much because they're not playing from behind as much.
Exactly.
His most attempts this year were 41 in the overtime game against Houston. Other than that, he's he's
barely peaked 30.
In the mid to high 20s is probably his average for attempts. So, and like you said, that offensive line is great. So he hasn't, gotten roughed up as much as he used to. And Des Bryant is Des Bryant. So,
yeah, I mean, last year he had 4 games out of 16 that he had under 30 attempts.
Right.
This year he's had, 4 games that he's had over 30 attempts. It's just it's better for him to not have as much pressure on him.
Right. And I think that's and maybe they don't give DeMarco Murray a full load on Sunday, depending on how the game goes. True. If they start out really well and score early,
just mix him in.
Then they kind of mix it in, give him some carries just to keep him fresh, to keep him in line. But I feel comfortable taking Dallas because, like I said, Dallas needs this game. For sure. All right. You taking Dallas too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of needing a game, both teams need this next game. And they're playing each other, so it's all convenient. It's like we both need to win. Well, we're playing each other. Oh, well, that's all right. One game to rule them all.
Let's just settle this in a tie. Let's just tie it and call it a day. Nobody gets hurt. everyone wins, sort of.
Everyone sort of wins.
Yes, you were referring to the Seahawks at the Cardinals.
Sunday night.
Seahawks are -9 on the road against a division leader, who are 7-0 at home. The Cardinals are 7-0 at home, and they're 9-point underdogs to the visiting Seattle Seahawks. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with Ryan Lindley or Logan Thomas or whoever's going to be starting at quarterback. You or me, whoever it is.
Yeah, I mean, they might get that far down on the... It's like Houston.
Yeah.
Arizona signs Nick Hershey to quarterback. Some franchises still know how to do business.
And my personal quote to the media will be, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Nick Hershey.
3 million follows on Twitter. If Seattle wins this game, they are the number 1 seed.
Right. That 9 points. I mean, that's tough for a home team who's 7-0. That's so tough. This one I might tease. I would throw this in the tease for Seattle to -3. I'd feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
But Seattle's playing so well, and Cardinals, yeah.
Arizona's defense is just so good.
Yeah.
And it's if it were in Seattle, I'd say I'd be all right with the -9.
Oh yeah.
But it's in Arizona.
Arizona, let's see. Yeah, the last 2 weeks they gave up a total of 20 points. 14 to Kansas City in week 14 and 2 field goals last week to the Rams.
Ryan Lindley.
Do you think the Cardinals can keep it close the way Seattle's been playing?
Points. I don't know. 9?
Seattle's first against the pass and 5th against the rush. And Cardinals are 15th in passing yards on offense and 28th in rushing yards on offense. Cardinals defense is terrible against the pass. They're 29th, and they're 6th against the run.
Yeah.
So that might be a little bit of an issue, but Seattle's running back is Marshawn Lynch, who doesn't seem to take, tough defenses into account when he plays. I'm going to go with Seattle. It's kind of tough to do, but
I'm going to go
with Seattle.
I'm going to go with Arizona.
All right. One of us will send a text that says idiot.
It's the 9 points that's scaring me. That's a lot.
No, it is.
Tease it down.
It is a lot. I agree, especially like I said, Arizona being undefeated at home. It's just, I don't know. Seattle's just playing so well. I feel like this might be a blowout game for them.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Is Fitzgerald playing? Is he back?
Oh, Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald. Ellington's on IR, so he's out. Fitzgerald is currently marked as probable.
Yeah, Fitzgerald had 7 catches for 30 yards last week against the Rams. And he's going against the number 1 pass defense. Yeah.
They do have some other good receivers, though.
Yeah, but they got you or me throwing the ball to them.
That's true. Although
we might be playing for Cleveland, so let's hold off on that.
Yeah, we don't know who we're playing for yet.
If this were any other team, I'd probably take the home team getting +9. But like I said, Seattle's defense is just playing so well. If they shut out the Cardinals, I think Seattle can score 9 points against 9+ points against them.
Seattle wins 9-0. It's a and there goes your teaser.
There goes the teaser.
And what if they won 3-0 and that ruined your whole teaser?
You know what? If a professional football game against top 2 division rivals finishes 3-0, I'll either be really pissed or really impressed. I'm not sure yet. It's
Well, speaking of division leaders, that brings us to another high-quality game, the Monday night game. Not the Sunday night game, the Monday night game, when the Broncos travel to Cincinnati. And the Broncos are favored by only 3.5.
okay.
Cincy needs us. Denver does.
True. But
Denver's won 4 in a row.
But will Cincy show up for this game?
Good question.
Let's see how they do against. Let's see. They
Good question.
beat Cleveland last week. They lost to Pittsburgh. Beat Tampa, Houston, New Orleans. Lost to Cleveland. Yeah, they
against other division leaders like Indianapolis or New England, they don't fare so well.
Right.
They've lost by at least 27 points to both those teams.
Right. And that game against Cleveland at the time, I think Cleveland was. Were they top? Well, they were probably first or second division at the time.
During the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were close.
Yeah.
It was still a logjam.
Yeah, since he just.
Logjam.
Yeah. Since he just doesn't seem to play too well against, like you said, division leaders. I'm gonna take Denver.
Yeah, me too.
Like you said, I think Cincinnati needs this, but I don't know. I don't see them beating Denver.
I mean, Dalton last week throws 14 of 24. Cincinnati largely wins that game because Cleveland sucked.
Yeah.
And they had some pretty good rushing from Jeremy Hill.
Right.
148 yards, 2 touchdowns. They even got a lot out of Giovanni Bernard. But
yeah, now they're going up against the second-ranked rushing defense in the Denver Broncos.
Or even a much better passing game or offense as a whole. Mm-hmm. I mean, last week it's Manziel and Terrence West, and now you have, Peyton Manning and C.J. Anderson, who's been doing pretty well.
Right.
It's a more competent offense.
Yeah,
so I think you're right.
I'm going to take Denver.
I think it's a good choice. You could also tease that.
That's true.
To 2.5. Plus 2.5.
It's very true.
I don't know if you would need the points.
Wouldn't it be 3.5? Or is it 2.5?
No, it'd be 2.5.
You're the math guy.
Unless you're doing a super teaser.
I don't know why I question you.
Unless you're doing a super teaser.
I might. That's not out of the question.
Or you could reverse that down. Ooh, even a reverse for that to 9.5.
Yeah,
that's not that
You
bad.
take Denver and Cincy at 9.5 in a game that Cincy needs.
Cincy doesn't do good against good teams. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like 9.5 doesn't seem like it's completely out of the realm of possibility.
Dalton doesn't seem to show up in games that the team needs, so that might that reverse might be a possibility. Very possible.
I don't know if it's a good week for reverses, but teasers by themselves.
Yeah,
good week.
Yeah, regular teasers would be nice. Let's see. That'll do it for our picks. Anything else you want to add regarding Week 16?
No, it's just setting the table. It's a good teaser week.
Setting the table, and Justin's ready to eat.
Hopefully, I'll have more cookies after this. After this week, if I pull the trigger.
Well, yeah. Why don't you pull the trigger this time?
I'll have to. I'll have to dabble. I'm not going to dick around this time.
All right. What do we have coming up this week for you on Entertainment Buddha?
Comic book spotlight Wednesday. Batman, more Axis. A lot of good DC books. Multiversity. So a lot of good reading. It's going to be an action-packed week this week, and even next week there's going to be a lot going. So plenty still left on the table for December, because Axis has Chapter 8 this week and then Chapter 9 next week. The penultimate chapters this week.
Well, I know what I'm going to be doing on Christmas Day.
Well, it'd be Christmas Eve. It might even get there early. I don't know. I'll have to.
I'll get it. I'll get it, but I'll read it Christmas Day after I open presents.
Oh, I see.
And, kick back by the fire and read some Axis.
Good day.
Looking forward to it.
You can also gift 2 months of Marvel Unlimited to somebody for $10. The normal rate is usually $9.99 per week or per month. You can gift it to somebody with a special. They will receive 2 months for $9.99. So an extra month.
Interesting.
Extra Marvel Unlimited.
And that's always a good thing. Always. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for the podcast this week. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at NoPuntIn, the number 10, DED. Check us out again on entertainmentbuddha.com. And there's tons of video game stuff going up. I know we're gathering a list for our staff picks for Game of the Year. So be sure to check that out. I think that's going up this week or perhaps next week. Not sure. But yeah, lots of video game stuff, lots of Christmas deals to check out, movies coming out this week. Justin, did you pick up Guardians of the Galaxy, or is that a Christmas wish list?
It's a Christmas hope.
All right, that'd be nice.
So did I? I don't know.
Guess you'll find out next week. Next week? Yeah, next week. Yeah, Christmas is next week. Sheesh. All right. Yeah, so that'll do it for us here. We'll catch you again next week as we wrap up the NFL regular season. Good luck, everybody.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Shut it down.
No, that's not. No, that's not it. Shut it down. Shut it down.
You said the wrong thing.
That's all right.
All right.
Same thing.
Now it's ruined.
Oh!